The God hierarchy. What is that? Why is that? Oh, okay, not that deep. As we all know, Dragon Ball is a pretty complex god system to say the least. And since Rymus just got introduced in Daima, why not make a video about the hierarchy and speculate about where he fits and if things have changed drastically because of it? Spoilers. It has. It literally changed everything you know. So sit back and strap in. Let's start very small at the humble beginning. Korin. Korin is the first deity, godlike entity that we've witnessed in Dragon Ball. He's an cat known as the martial arts god. He is around 800 years old, but he still is shrouded in mystery. Like, where did he come from? Did a previous guardian create him? Did a previous guardian of Earth put him in that position? We don't know. Then we have Popo. And Popo is such a cool character. I really was flabbergasted when he first appeared. He was so ominous and cool and scary. But Daima did have a missed opportunity because they stated he came from the demon realm originally. So that's definitely something new we learned about Mr. Popo. But we haven't seen his race or explored anything with that, which is very sad because my boy needed some more representation. He's an attendant of Kami, or the Guardian of Earth, and that's his job basically. He might be very, very old. He might be since the very first Guardian of Earth, and who knows how long ago that is. So shout out to Mr. Popo, man. Then when we go above that, we got Kami. Kami is the Guardian of Earth. He oversees the planet, and most people would say that's where godhood starts. He's the very first actual godlike entity in Dragon Ball. But with the term god in Dragon Ball is very loosely, because as we get to know, Kami is not literally a god. He's just appointed to guard over Earth. He's a Namekian originally, and to be honest, when it comes to guardians of celestial planets, of like celestial bodies, we've only seen Namekians have that job, and most likely that's not the case. Probably like the previous Guardian of Earth was not a Namekian, but who knows? They might be, because we've only seen Namekians. Now let's go to the next one, and that is the subscribe button. Come on guys, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the love from the previous video, and let's continue. Let's talk about the blue-skinned Oni that run the Afterlife. You see them in Dragon Ball Z working at check-in stations, filling paperwork, and guiding souls to either heaven or hell. But where do they come from? Are they natural beings of the Afterlife? Were they created by King Yemma? Or do they predate him, like similar to the minions? We don't really know. But one thing's for sure, they exist outside the reincarnation cycle. They don't seem to die of old age, and they don't train like mortals. They just work, making them a unique class of divine beings in Dragon Ball's hierarchy. Now, King Yemma is where things start getting serious. He's the big boss of the Afterlife, sitting at his massive desk and deciding where souls go, and his power somewhat reflects it, because King Kai outright says King Yemma is stronger than Raditz, which in early Dragon Ball Z was no joke. Yemma is responsible for keeping hell in check, meaning he has some divinely authority over some of the worst beings in the universe. But what's weird is that he's not a Kai. He isn't a demon either, because of his round ears. He's just there, seemingly just running a system. So did he inherit his position? Or was he chosen? Or, since we know more about the universe since Daima, did Rymus put him there or created him for that purpose? These are the questions, man. Dragon Ball, answer them, man. Come on, man. Now, let's step up a level. The Kais. King Kai, the wisecracking mentor of Goku, is one of 4 regional Kais who oversee different parts of the universe. The North, South, East, and West Kais each rule their own quadrant, meaning King Kai only governs 1/4 of the universe. While King Kai has knowledge and abilities beyond most warriors, he's nowhere near the level of what you'd expect a god to be. That's what I always thought, since he is stronger than King Yemma, but he isn't even stronger than Nappa. But since Daima, it all makes sense. They are just a mortal race like the Guardians of Planets, merely chosen to fill up this role. Their race is called Glins, by the way, but they have been chosen to be Kais, and Kais are basically just overseers watching their part of the cosmos. Alright, now we're stepping up the ladder. The Grand Kai sits above the 4-quadrant Kais, north, south, east, and west. He's basically their boss, overseeing the entire mortal universe. But here's the thing, he doesn't really do much. Unlike the other Kais, Grand Kai doesn't directly intervene in universal affairs. Instead, he hangs out in the other world. In fact, he's not even the highest Kai. Well then, what is his purpose? You can basically see him as a quality control manager. He just checks and sees if the Kais are doing their jobs correctly. That's it. He is stronger than the Kais, so that's something at least. Now let's talk about the Supreme Kais, the gods that truly hold the universe together. Every universe is supposed to have one Supreme Kai, but Universe 7 had an interesting situation. Originally, Universe 7 had 5 Supreme Kais, 4 regular Supreme Kais, and 1 I'll mention later. But basically, Majin Buu happened. Kid Buu wiped out 3 of them and absorbed the 4th, leaving just Nahare, or his mortal name Shin, the weakest of them all, to handle everything on his own. So, the elephant in the room. Why did Universe 7 have so many Supreme Kais in the first place? Most universes seem to have just one Supreme Kai watching over them. Did Universe 7's god break the rules? Was this an experiment, or did something happen in the past that required more divine oversight? Or is Universe 7 special? Maybe it's the first universe that Rymus created, and that's why it has so much divine love. Or maybe an oversight and bad writing, but that's boring. So let's go with the option before. The 5th Supreme Kai I haven't mentioned, the one absorbed by Kid Buu, the Grand Supreme Kai, was supposed to be the highest ranking god beneath the God of Destructions. In Universe 7, he was the true overseer, and considering his power, he was probably the strongest Supreme Kai in the multiverse, at least before Buu absorbed him. But here's the thing. We've never seen another Grand Supreme Kai in any other universe. Every other universe seems to function fine with just one Supreme Kai, meaning Universe 7 might have been the only one that needed a Grand Supreme Kai. So was this title unique to Universe 7, or did the multiverse originally have Grand Supreme Kais in every universe, but over time they were removed or lost, or maybe died of old age? But I'll stick with the Universe 7 is the first universe that was created. I don't know, I really like that one. Toyotaro, take notes. Now let's talk about the heavy hitters, the gods of destruction. Unlike the Kais who focus on creation and balance, the destroyers exist purely to erase. Each universe has one god of destruction, handpicked by the angels, and their job is to wipe out anything that disrupts universal balance. Whether that's planets, civilizations, or even troublesome deities, they answer to Zeno, the Omni King. But their direct superiors are the angels, specifically their attendant angel, who serves as both their guide and mentor. But here's something crazy. Not every god of destruction is equal. Some, like Beerus, are ridiculously powerful, while others, like Sidra from Universe 9, are questionably weak. Not weak, but you get what I mean. The reason is because they are just mortals, extremely powerful ones. Alright, let's get into the real reason you're here. Rymus. Dragon Ball Daima introduces this mysterious new character. He is the originator of the multiverse that we knew back in Super. He created all 18 universes. But where does he fit? They are so casual with it. They just call him a Super Majin that did all this because of a request. Like, What do you mean? A super Majin? Are there more then? Most likely there were more of his race. My guess is he comes from an old and powerful race of Majins back in the Demon Realm, millions to even billions of years ago. But because they were so casual about him, I'll place him here in the hierarchy, above everything in the multiverse since he created it, but I can't place him higher than that yet. Now, here's the real mind blower. Before the Supreme Kais, before the gods of destruction, there was the Supreme Demon King. The Demon Realm isn't just another part of the multiverse, it's Universe Zero, a completely standalone realm. It doesn't follow the rules as the 18 universes that once existed, and it has its own hierarchy that runs independent from the gods we know. We know about the Bora, the Demon King, but his title was just that, a title. The demon realm has had many demon kings throughout history, but at some point, millions to billions of years ago, there was a supreme demon king, and this supreme demon king is the one who requested Rymus to create the multiverse. Let that sink in. That means the supreme demon king holds a level of authority above all the gods we've talked about so far, above the supreme Kais, above the gods of destructions, and even Rymus himself, since he was the one who initiated the multiverse creation, and a powerful being like Rymus listened to that command. But that raises a question. If the Supreme Demon King once had this level of authority, what happened to them? And don't say the third eye. In the silhouette of him, he does not possess the third eye. It does look like a third dot or accessory on his head, but that's it. And we know that the third eye isn't nearly on the level of Rymus in terms of boost. It was just an item on a random store. Now we're getting into the real power players. The angels are on a completely different level from the gods we've talked about so far. While Supreme Kais create and gods of destruction destroy, angels guide and observe. Each universe has one assigned to their god of destruction, acting as both their teacher and their attendant. But here's the catch. Angels are not bound by destruction or creation. Unlike the other gods, they don't fight for their universes. They exist outside the system, with no direct stakes in what happens. If a universe is erased, they don't die, they just move on. And let's not forget the fact that every angel is ridiculously powerful. Whis, Vados, and the others casually outperform the gods of destruction. They can manipulate or create matter out of nowhere. They can manipulate time, and by that I'm not saying move through time. No. An angel like Whis can literally grab all of existence and pull it back 3 minutes. So that's why he doesn't create a new timeline when doing so. Yeah, these beings are crazy and still so mysterious. Now let's talk about Zeno's guards. At first glance, you might think they're just elite bodyguards meant to protect the Omni King. And back when I was a young 15-year-old lad, I thought they were stronger than Zeno, since why does Zeno need protection? If he does, then surely they are stronger than him. But in one of the panels of the manga, it finally got answered. Their real purpose isn't to protect Zeno. They're protecting existence from Zeno. Think about it. Zeno is a literal childlike being who can erase entire universes on a whim. The gods of destruction fear him, the supreme Kais bow before him, and even the angels remain careful around him. If Zeno gets bored, annoyed, or simply makes a random decision, entire realities could disappear. That's where the guards come in. Their true role isn't to defend Zeno from an enemy, it's to make sure Zeno doesn't flip out and erase everything. They are the last line of defense, standing as a silent but constant reminder that even the Omni King's actions must be kept in check. But that raises an even bigger question. If Zeno needs guards to keep him in check, does that mean there's someone above him? Someone who gave those guards that role? I mean, they spawned in when future Zeno joined our timeline. Interesting beings for sure. Now we've arrived at the Grand Priest, the being who sits at the very top of the angel hierarchy. He is the father of all the angels, meaning he personally created Whis, Vados, and the others. He's also one of the only beings Zeno actually listens to, meaning his influence is just as important as his strength. And speaking of strength, he's confirmed to be one of the strongest beings in existence. Whis, who already outclasses the gods of destruction, consider the Grand Priest's power to be on another level entirely. Even talking about these beings really hypes me up for the future of Dragon Ball Super. And yeah, the Grand Priest is within the top 5 of strongest entities in existence. And now we've reached the top of the god hierarchy, Zeno, the Omni King. Zeno is portrayed as the absolute ruler of all realities, a being so powerful that can erase entire universes with a simple thought. Even the gods of destruction fear him, and the Supreme Guys don't even question his authority. But here's the thing, Zeno isn't a ruler. He doesn't govern, strategize, or interfere in universal affairs. In fact, he doesn't seem to understand to care about the complexities of the multiverse. He's more like a cosmic force of destruction than an actual king. And this is where things get interesting. We've already established that his guards exist to keep him from erasing everything. The Grand Priest, the angels, and the entire divine system seem to be built around maintaining balance, while Zeno exists at the top, which raises the question, why does someone this powerful need a structured hierarchy around him? If he really is the top of the chain, the cream of the crop, the la creme de la creme, why does he even need advisors, guards, or attendants? Is Zeno really the true highest being, or was he placed in this position by someone or something else? And I'm not done yet, because there's still one being, one entity that I haven't talked about. And that brings us to the biggest mystery in Dragon Ball's god hierarchy, Zalama. I'm not saying his place is higher than Zeno. I'm not saying it's lower. The only thing I'll be saying is that he is the only entity that we know of that has the power to undo Zeno's erasure. Now let that sink in. And Zeno is the only entity that we know of that undid a wish of the Super Dragon Balls, killing someone who was made immortal by the Super Dragon Balls. It's as if they counter each other in power. And I mean, the show is literally named after his creation, Dragon Ball. And having seen Neva, if Neva ever returns in Super, we might get to hear a story of how he met Zalama and learned to create the Demon Dragon Balls. We know he is out there somewhere, waiting to be discovered. Since the Dragon Balls exist, it means that he is still alive somewhere. And as always, keep existing.